think this is going now. Okay, here we go. Starting soon, ended. Wow! What? Where? That was a little... Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, no! We're never going to be able to get back to normal. Shh. Hello. Hello. I'm back. How's it going, guys? Okay. Well, well, well. What have we here? Sorry. Apologies. I am here tonight. I apologize if you hear screaming kids in the background. That's just going to happen today. Kids. So they're just so great. They're just so happy. How's it going, guys? Squid Tank. What's up? All right. Okay, so I've got a couple options. And luckily, because you guys are here, and let me know if the sound is coming across okay. This is a little bit new rig. I've got a little bit of a better mic system, and I have some new audio equipment that I've got for my tutorials that seems to be improving the audio quite a bit, but I haven't tested it on a stream yet. So if the... Ecuador! What part of Ecuador? I lived in Cuenca in Ecuador for about 6 months. It was beautiful. So if the audio's not working so great, I know that I'm not lit very awesomely, but that's just what you get. That's what you're gonna get. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so these are the choices that we're gonna lay before us today. Since this is a new stream, a new month, what I want to do is either I'm going to continue on the zombie hunter, this chick that we're here, and having been away from her for a while, there's a lot of things that I would like to change. So we're going to do that. Or we're going to do one of my own designs. Well, this is my own design, but a different design. And I'm thinking we do this chick from one of my Instagram sketches. So she's part of a duo of two girls on a bike and rollerblading. So whatever you guys want to see, whatever the majority decides, I guess, that's what we're going to go for. How many polys am I at for this? I don't think I'm at too high. I'm total 5 million polys for this girl right now, and that's probably mainly in the eyes, actually. Where are the eyes at? The eyes are like... Well, actually, the eyes are low. Never mind. I JK'd that. It's all in the face, but the face, just see a lot of issues with now that I've been gone with. That happens. Anyways, Argentina. Oh, I always wanted to go to Argentina. Cuenca. I love Cuenca. Yes, I'm super glad to be back. It's been a while. It's been like the busiest summer of my life, and none of it had to do with 3D. It was all like family commitments and camping and just one thing after another. Like I didn't have a free weekend this whole summer until now, until basically the end of the eclipse, which was like 2 weeks ago. So I'm glad to be back. Happy to be back. You like the idea of the new one, Squid Tank? So do I. I kind of like going on that way. Keen for the new one too. Cool with working on other. Brazil! Yes! Brazil! Follow Portuguese. I don't follow Portuguese. No follow Portuguese. That's about my... I can understand Portuguese a little bit. When it's being talked. When it's being like... When I'm talking to someone in Spanish and someone speaks in Portuguese, I can understand it a little bit. A little bit. So I guess let's go into that other one. Let's close. I'm just gonna close this down and start fresh. Ooh, we got a link here. Let's check out the link. I don't know what this is. Ah, sweet. That's a cool bass mesh. That's coming along. Very cool. No, follow more no. Look, I heard that. So anyways, okay, yeah, let's just start from scratch. I'm just gonna close it out, ignore the references that I have here, and ZBrush it back up. Ooh, look, you're gonna see a little bit of my stuff for how to sculpting the hand. New techniques, new wizardry coming out soon. So I have been busy doing some 3D. Not as much as I wanted to, but a little bit. So I will be having a new Gumroad tutorial release, I think on Monday. I'm hoping it'll be all packaged up. The editing is done. The, yes, references. Let's start. Anyways, I have a new tutorial coming out on Gumroad, I think on Monday. All the editing is done. I'm adding in subtitles, which is something we've never done before with my tutorials. So it'll be a little bit better to translate as far as internationally. That'll be fun. The sound quality has improved quite a bit, which I'm very excited about because we had some pretty bad issues, and it's mainly it was a whole slur of things that I had to figure out. So now I think the sound quality is actually there. Colombia, yes, Colombia. We wanted to go to Colombia when we were in Ecuador. We were this close to traveling up to Colombia for a bit, but we decided to go. We went to the top of Ecuador and then all the way back down to the bottom, and then we went down to Peru, to the top of Peru, and flew to Lima, and then went all the way down to Arequipa and back up, and then back up to Ecuador. But we didn't make it to Colombia because we just ran out of time. But we wanted to make it back up to Colombia because we've heard it's beautiful there. Is it possible to adjust the mix? Less music, yes. Okay. Is that better for the mix on the desktop? Maybe just up a little bit. It's probably too loud now that I'm looking at it. Okay. Let me know if that sounds better. I've taken down the desktop music just a bit. Music is giving. I did not choose this music. I just chose like the first thing that I saw that would play royalty free music and just stream it, so I didn't have to like pick what I was doing. So if maybe I can just skip this song because it's called like Anxiety. Okay. Who knows what this is going to cause. Egypt, that's awesome. Okay, let me bring in that reference so we can see what we're working on today. And this is just one of my own designs from Instagram. Go back, save that image. Let's call her Skater Girl. Skater Girl. Okay. My goodness, I can't even save this image actually. It's not saving an image. Bloody. Okay, well. New snip. Almost there, guys. Beauty. Okay, now we've got stuff going now. Do I speak Spanish as well as I did, as was the communication with the people? Yeah, I actually speak Spanish. I speak decent. I speak really bad Spanish now. I used to speak really, really well. It, I lived in Spain for 2 years, and we just spoke it every single day. We lived and breathed Spanish, and so not speaking it every single day for 10 years. It's been 10 years since I lived in Spain, but 8 years since I lived in Ecuador, and just not speaking it every day. I've lost. I can't think in Spanish. Like when you just speak it normally. And it requires effort to get back in the brain set. But once I start getting in the brain set, I can start after about 30 minutes of talking to someone in Spanish. I can get back to a pretty decent linguist again. Okay. Samples off. Okay, let's see what people are saying. Yeah, I was a graphic designer in Cuenca in Ecuador, and my wife taught English to a school there. Yay! Thanks, Patchy. Some of it I did, yeah, the Disney Infinity stuff I did for Disney. How's it going, George? The other stuff that I did on my Instagram is just kind of for funsies. I haven't really posted anything from my new job, as we're still in development with all of it, and it's all very hush hush because it's with, J.J. Abrams and whatnot. A Spanish-speaking artist in the works. Yes. Don't ask me to speak, though, because I'll feel super embarrassed, because I know how good I used to be and now how bad I am. What am I doing? Okay. So I'm just going to start going on this. When you guys start having questions, if I can see them, I'll try to answer them as best I can. But mainly I'll probably just be going on sculpting on the head today. And at least get to a decent point on the head, and then we'll kind of go from there. Oh, was that you that I wrote a Spanish message to? I feel so embarrassed. Hacía mucho tiempo que hablaba español, entonces no me gusta hablar y tengo el acento de España, de castellano. Entonces, I say the th a lot. So apologies there. Not apologies. I actually love Spain Spanish. I think it's super pretty. Let's see if I understand that question. Cool. I really love to pass my drawings to ZBrush, but it is difficult, and I don't find any good tutorials on YouTube, like going direct to point and not talking random stuff. The problem is the tools. Patchy, I don't know if I understand. My goodness, that question. Are you talking about translating a 2D concept to 3D, or oh, I've been playing with ZBrush for far too long. Not far too long, actually, just long enough. I've been doing ZBrush for 7 years. 7 years now? 6, 7 years? And it was lucky that I was able to like learn ZBrush hand in hand with Maya and like some of the other 3D training packages that there are out there. Just because like I, have been with people that haven't, and they get really frustrated with some of the stuff in ZBrush because it's a different language than Maya, and I love that because of it. It speaks a lot more to the artist than Maya could ever do. And even though they're trying with some of their new sculpting tools, I just have never gotten into it. But I've been in ZBrush for a while. A little bit about me, if for those of you who don't really know my background and stuff, I am a character artist, currently working for a company called Chair Entertainment. And I'm trying to like sculpt while I talk, and it just doesn't work so well. Chair Entertainment, and they are owned by, it's a company that's owned by, it's a branch of Epic Games. So Gears of War, the Unreal Engine, those are all made by Epic Games, and we're a branch. We all use the Unreal Engine at work, and all the games are made by Chair or on Unreal. Yeah, ZBrush looks easy but to start using all the tools and find, that's Patchy. That's definitely the biggest. That's the biggest hurdle. I've got a tutorial out there that's more or less for beginners. I mean, you have to have a subtle understanding of the navigation, but as far as learning more than the navigation, you can learn the navigation fairly quickly by just jumping on like the Z Classroom at pixelogic.com. Wow, this just looks like an alien head. Isn't that great? 30. This is actually like way higher than I normally do things. There we go. You go to ZBrush Classroom, and they can teach you pretty much any tool and where to get it. But as far as like execution and how you can use it, I have a tutorial. You can see the Gumroad link that's right there, I believe. I have got an intro to ZBrush as far as character sculpting goes. I have some more advanced ones, and I'll actually be releasing a couple more, another intro tutorial, and then another kind of intermediate character design tutorial within a month or so that I've started to work on. Is it not free? No, my Gumroad tutorials. Oh wait, which one are you talking about? Oh, thanks, Kush. Yeah, and the only way to be good at ZBrush is to do it every day. Yes, Chair actually made the Infinity Blade series, and we're working on a game right now called Spy Jinx that's gonna be awesome. It's really coming into its own, and I'm very very excited and happy to be on the project because we're doing some really cool stuff right now, and it's fun to see it kind of mold into what it has become since I've been there. It's really something unique and different, and I really am pretty passionate about it, to be one of the guys making characters. Let's see here. Is the tote free? No, my Gumroad tutorials are all paid because I put a lot of effort in really making them good. You know, I take just as much time editing them as I do filming them. I do have a free one that's kind of like an intro of an example of how I used to make base meshes. I do a slightly different method now, but you could at least understand like my teaching style, and if you like it, then you can go in like $25 for the intro, and you know, and then on and on and on. Blands, thank you. Good to be back. So I have a lot of fun making the tutorials. That's why I keep doing them. Oh my goodness. And you know, with ZBrush as being as good as it is and releasing not just new updates, but updates that are like game changers on how you do your workflow. Techniques change. Like I'll be retiring my intro to ZBrush, the one that I made. I made it about 3 years ago. It's still fairly valid on some of the techniques. There's just different ways that may be a little bit simpler to understand for beginners. Oops. Just maybe a little bit simpler to understand for beginners, and keep those eyes big, I guess. Sorry. Yeah, let's see. The sci-fi. Was that the sci-fi girl from ZBrush? I am. How old am I? Oof. 32. 32 years young. Starting to actually like feel it. But I feel good. Doing a lot of stuff. Just checking out some of these proportions, some of this stuff. Mostly I'm just trying to put in the landmarks, as most of this stuff will all change. Zomax. Yeah, thanks, Knight of Spades. And they did make Shadow Complex. Chair did, in fact, make Shadow Complex. And that's an awesome game. And maybe one day we'll make Shadow Complex 2. There's always talks about that. But I have no idea. But it is cool being able to like work a little bit with Bad Robot to develop this game, Spy Jinx. It's been real cool. Yeah, Chair is awesome. I mean, I guess not a lot of like people come to Utah to feel the creative vibe and atmosphere, but it's actually, we've got a really cool scene here, like this unknown creative scene in Utah. A lot of films are done in Utah, actually, because of the taxes. There's no creative tax. Like if you'd make a movie, it's not taxed. So there's big tax breaks for people. So a lot of big film companies do stuff here. I would love for an actual decent animation studio to come out here too. Would be great. How long am I streaming tonight? I'll be streaming for another 2.5 hours. Cheers. Yeah, I would love to go to Oregon. I don't know if I would ever go to LA. I mean, California is great, but it is a different lifestyle. It is just busier than and just different from Utah. Obviously. Who'd have thunk that? What? California's different from Utah? You're mad. No, I like it. It's a little bit slower paced here. It's definitely not nearly as expensive, which is awesome. So you can kind of feel like you can live. And it's beautiful here. Got no problems about Utah. I tried to convince one of my art buddies that was in LA to move out here. And we flew him out and showed him around. And he's like, yeah, I think I'll move up to Seattle. Which was fine. I love Seattle. That's where I went to school, was in Seattle. So gotta love Seattle. What tablet do I use? I am using, for this is the Cintiq, the 27-inch non-touch Cintiq. And it's great. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time. Have I ever worked on any AAA companies other than Disney? No. So Disney was the second company that I worked for in the entertainment industry. So I was a graphic designer before I got into 3D. I was a graphic designer, for how many years? 6 years, 5, 6 years. Senior graphic designer at a company here, and was liking it. Like, it was great. Nothing against it, but it's just not what I wanted to do forever. But it's just something that I was able to teach myself, and so it just kind of fell into it, more or less, which is kind of a horrible way to look at what you want to do with your passion. Like, don't just fall into things. Do things with intent, with purpose. Anyways, I was a graphic designer. I did like it, but I just didn't love it. Making... Man, let's get this high better. But it was great. And so then I went to a school up in Seattle, where they were teaching ZBrush, and they taught it 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So you're basically just learning 3D, which was awesome, and just what I needed, because I did a little community college, just to start to see if I even liked 3D, and I did it for a little bit, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna learn, and I thought I was like, oh, I'm the shiz. Look at what I made. I made this robot, and I showed it to a professor that I knew that lived in the same neighborhood as me, showing him, like, hey, look what I did, aren't I great? And he looked at it and he basically said, in the nicest way, that sucks. And if you're really interested in doing this, you have to be doing it like 40 hours a week or 30 hours a week. You've got to be doing it a ton to start to learn it if you really want to get into it. So, you know, I found the school that was going to teach that way, and just never looked back after that. Let's see. Did you just model or also rig the character and animate? Right now, I'm primarily just character design, so I do concept and character design. So I do a little bit in 3D, and then if I do rigging, it will be kind of rig matching as far as like face stuff goes. I'll do some facial rigs, but very rarely am I creating my own rigs, and I wouldn't know how to make my own rigs. But that's not to say that I don't want to know. I actually am wanting to learn how to do rigging because it appeals to me for some reason. Just adding in a mouth bag here. Let's see. Oh, there's a question about this. How's the new rig? I think I did one stream and I talked about the rig. My new machine is awesome and I love it so much. I haven't had any problems with it. I've done some really good renderings, like let's pull it up. Just pull it up. We'll just pull it up. Why not? Where are you? So, yeah, get over here. This was made on my new machine in ZBrush and rendered in Keyshot. And this rendered in Keyshot, like, it was a pretty intense light rig, like light setup that I put in. And it rendered within a few hours, which was awesome because in my old machine it was like 24 hours and I had to max out the time, and if I didn't max out the time it would just keep rendering and it would never stop because my computer just couldn't do it. So anyways, there's a question about this I saw. Are you wearing a Z glove? No, I am wearing a Doki Wear glove. Let's see if you can see that. A Doki Wear glove. It's not for carpal tunnel. I just hate my hand resting against glass and feeling it like smudge and muck up the screen. So it's mainly just because I like to keep my screen clean and not feel my hand grind against the screen. I have 3 of these. I love these gloves, actually. I've tried a bunch of different screen gloves or computer gloves or I just call them nerd gloves. They're just nerd gloves. Let's be honest. So I have a bunch. I've tried a bunch of them. I had like the smudge guard, which was good. And then when this one came out, I was hooked. I bought 4 of them. So I have one at home, or I've got one at home, one at work, one at this desk, and one in my backpack. For my Cintiq at work, for my iPad when I'm on the go, it's in my backpack at all times. And then if I'm ever just like sketching in bed, I've got one next to me. So, and they're great. I love them. Doki Wear. It's not for carpal tunnel, though. Yeah, Pixar is awesome. What is my favorite Disney model that I made? Oh my gosh, that is a tough one. Let's go back on memory lane. Let's see. So these are the Disney models that I made. My favorite one Jeez, that's tough. I have one for each series. I think like Rocket was one of my favorites. And he's not going to pull up. Look at this. It takes forever, you dinosaur. What's this going on with the art station? Anyways, I think Rocket was one of my favorites for the Marvel because he was just so different from anything else that we were making that year. And he just turned out awesome, and I had a lot of input on what his character actually looked like in the end, so I had some concept to do and did some 3D explorations, and that was a lot of fun. With 3.0, it was probably Korra. And I did a ZBrush Summit presentation on Korra actually a couple of years ago. It was probably Korra, just because she turned out so well so quickly. Like she was modeled and finished within 2 weeks. Like she was just perfect. And I gotta put in, she was just really easy to do and a lot of fun to like do the hair, do all these little details that some of our characters just didn't have at the time. Or Darth Maul was also a lot of fun. He was also one of the characters that I did for the ZBrush Summit a couple of years ago. And then Moana was probably my favorite character I did for the next one that got canceled for like Infinity 2 or 4, but got canceled, so she'll never see the light of day. But I pushed so hard to get her the way she was, because don't tell anyone, but there was someone that really wanted her a little bit more princessy and wanted her a little thinner, and I just didn't feel like that was the right way to go. So I really pushed for this, and in the end, the directors at Disney really liked it. So we stuck with what I had. And then this one was another fun one that never came out because I love Jack Skellington. And anyways, what in the world? So, oh no, let's see here. Okay, that Batgirl's nice, thank you. Have I always had the shape language, aka their style, or did you, I've studied 2D character design for many years. Before I got into 3D, as I was a graphic designer, shape language was very much a part of what I was doing, because I wasn't just making logos and websites. I was actually more or less making mascots. I was doing a lot of mascot design. And so the shape language is not something that I've coined. It's actually something that's been taught from the masters, like the Nine Old Men. Glenn Keane's really into it. Like if any of you get into Steven Silver's new book that he released, his whole book is basically about shape language and talking about how to define shape language. Thanks, Patchy. So it's not something that I really picked up at Disney, though I think I pushed that a little bit more for some of the stuff at Disney when I was there. At least I pushed myself more, I should say. To really like focus in on how this translates. She's got these huge giant eyes. Anyways, so it is something that I developed, but it's something that I've always been studying about. Yeah, I used to work with Shane Olson. Shane is the man, as you guys know. Shane, he was awesome to work with, so he's great. Okay, let's see. Yeah, no problem. Hey Matt, do you have any advice about retopo characters with many small parts attached to it? Yes. So that depends on what you're retopoing it as. Is it like a game mesh? Is it a cinematic mesh? Um, because the way that I like to do it is you can, in 3D Coat you can actually break things off into groups. So you can have, like, say you bring in a full character and they have belts and then boxes on those belts. You can separate those all into different things, and then you can just retopo them separately in 3D Code. I love 3D Code for retopoing, and that's about it. Everything else I use. I'm in ZBrush like 90% of the time because there's just nothing better than ZBrush for this. I still remember that summit. Oh, awesome. Yes, the fitting Darth Maul into the package at the 9th hour was it was stressful to say the least, especially because, like, I really fought. Like, he was the one character I wanted to do. I'm like, I want to do Darth Maul. I want to do him. I know I could do him well. And so, like, they gave him to me, and then it was going great, and we didn't even think about this box until the very end when we were, like, shipping it off to manufacturing. And just it worked out, so we're great. Um, yeah, I actually really like ZBrush's retopo stuff. I hardly do like a full character, but for quick stuff I do ZBrush all the time. Matt, are you talking about the book on Kickstarter for? Yes, Dry Otter. I am the Steven Silver Kickstarter book. Fantastic book. Just putting in a mouth bag. Okay. We're gonna go out of live Boolean just to see some of the stuff. Anyways, let's just see. Do I always start with the head, or does it matter? You know, I normally don't. I normally start with, like, blocking out the body, but I didn't think you guys wanted to see me push around spheres and stuff. So figured the head might be somewhat fun. Though it is always, like, I do always struggle with talking and sculpting. I think in most of the tutorials that I do, I'll do, like, sculpting to a point and be like, okay guys, now I just got to stop talking, make this look good, and and watch the tweaks that I make, and then pick up because my brain just doesn't function that way. Little bit smoother. Beautiful, beautiful. And as far as, like, most of the stuff that you're seeing, like all this quick lassoing stuff, it is really, oops, just to have something there. This will all be demolished in a bit. Am I allowed to print the Moana figure for myself? For all the Disney execs out there and whatnot, no. I am legally obligated to answer no for for that. Let's see. What's the minimum specs that I render to? The bare minimum that I ever render to is 1080, and that's like if I want a quick render. Normally, I try to render a 4K image because I'll take that image and I'll dice it up and do zoom ins of eyes or textures or things like that. So some of it helps to just render things quick. But when I do my final render, I'm normally rendering at 4K because I never know, like, with some of the stuff that I finish and they're like, hey, can we use this for publication? Which has happened a couple of times. I'm like, oh yeah, you need it larger, so I'll re-render that. Just kind of saves me some time. She got these big old eyes. We're gonna have to bring her brow up. So this part of the head is called the suck, where things are just going to look crappy, and you got to be okay with it. Are you allowed to create your own Moana figure and print it out for yourself? No. I don't know how you would get that file. I certainly don't have it. Did Disney obligate you to make some crazy rules, like change your identity or something? No. If you just happen to look up Tom L. Kaepernick, you won't find someone that looks just like me. This back of the head looking huge. Hey, Tom, how's it going? Speaking of Tom, welcome back. I think I remember you ordered a 3D printer a while back. I do have it assembled. Oh man, I don't even have any of the prints here because I brought them to work. Anyways, this was not printed on that, but it's over here. You can't see it, but it's over here and it's great. Yay! It prints. I mean, it prints about as what you would expect from an FDM printer, but I love having it. I've printed a bunch of stuff. I printed my new crock on it, which I think I'll show a picture. Here we go. Here we go. Back to Instagram, because Instagram is where I post everything. For any of you who have tried to send me messages on Facebook and I haven't answered, I apologize. But I'm the worst. Okay. Here. This was printed on my new printer, the Prusa. It printed all these little bitty parts. I mean, you can see the layering because it's an FDM printer. But it actually printed fairly well, which I was pretty surprised at. Fixed the balancing problems that it had with adding the backpack and adjusting some of the things. So it balances. This is how big it is. This is the printer. Great printer. Prusa. This is I highly recommend it. They support it really well. So the failed prints and like the updates and making it better is great. And like this is compared to a form. So this is like, excuse me, my goodness. This is the form, or this is the Prusa, and this is the form. Obviously, the form's like way better quality. You see that you don't see any lines, but this print cost $3 to $5 to print, and this one in resin probably cost about 80 to 100 to print. So the cost per print is definitely is my main reason of buying it. You overslept your alarm. Dude, you're so nice waking up. We're just talking about crazy crap today. Where did my pen go? Like that. Like, where did my pen go? Just with the Z modeler brush, adding in more stuff. How long did it take to print? See, that's where the Form 2 wins again. Is the Form 2, I think, was printed within, 8 hours, maybe 8 or 9 hours, maybe 10. I don't know. That crocodile print, it was printed over several days because you can only print one piece at a time. And it probably took total about 25 hours to print everything. But in days, it took, 6 days to print, 5 to 6 days to print. Just because you can only do one section at a time. You got to be careful because things start to overlap. Things start to break when it's clipping, when it's going from one section to the other. So you have to be careful about that. Tom, I'm always ready for some good harebrained conspiracies. Oh, Patty, you're way too cool to stay up that late. Okay. I am using some of ZBrush's great new features here, such as a duplicate. I'm going to cut that out. We're going to scale it just a bit. Take this one, put it all there so it all works. So basically this is again not necessarily necessary. I'm just making like an eye bag. That makes sense. An eye bag, an eye socket. I did just back this Kickstarter as well for a SLA printer, a printer that's like the Form 2, except for it's like baby printer, but it only cost $150 for the printer, and then the resin's also cheap. The prints are not going to be like, I know the prints are not going to be as nice as the form, but they'll probably be decent. Let me know if this music is just getting way too annoying. Yes, get the coffee going. You guys excited for the summit this year? The ZBrush summit? You guys know about that? Summit's going to be great this year. We've got some excellent speakers going. Hi, wife.
Hello, everybody. Okay,
That's Carla. Yes, and she's going to be working on Redbeard tutorials. So don't look at the screen right there, because that stuff's secret until Monday. It should be a marathon. All right, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I think that's just Kyle's high hopes. He just wants me going. He's like, he's been gone for too long. He needs to stream nonstop to make up for it. Right, Kyle? Probably. Mainly in ZBrush, you just have to get used to like everything looking like garbage for a long time. That's what I've kind of come to, is that my stuff will just look like garbage until the very end, and then it will look less like garbage but probably still garbage. Finally, a release date on the tutorial, Monday. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. Cover the screen. Oh. They're gonna see. Oh, you guys can see. That's fine. I mean, what are you gonna see? You're gonna see some captions. Actually, they'll be very impressed to see how fast my wife types. So know that every tutorial, the proceeds go to her fingers. Yeah, they've got some great presenters this year. Like, I'm super stoked to see the Funko team do the presentation. You know, I'm a huge art toy collector, which my wife does not understand at all. Like, why are you getting another toy? She doesn't understand that, but I love it. Like, it's one of the reasons I actually got into 3D was because I wanted to make my own toys. So it'll be really cool to see like their presentation and like some of the stuff that they do. Yes, that's true, Tom. Enhance, enhance. Where's the? You trying to frame it? It's okay. It will all be revealed in time. In time. Okay, live Boolean again. I'm going to add in the lips while we're on live Boolean. Live Boolean is probably my favorite thing ZBrush has done in a long time. Like, well, never mind. I take that back. Because, like, one of the last things they did was, like, ZRemesher, and I love ZRemesher. And so everything they do, I've been really happy with. I still want ZBrush for iPad Pro, but that's just a wish list that I can be okay just wanting that perpetually. Yeah, Tiago Sculpt, that's exactly right. I've spent many a dollar on Funko stuff. Like my work, my office computer, my work computer at it's just riddled with toys. So super stoked to see them do some stuff. I actually like I gotta meet one of my toy idols. Does that make sense? A toy idol? A toy idol? She's not listening. Um, anyways, I got to meet one of my toy idols, toy maker idols, last year at the Design Con. If any of you guys are familiar with Design Con in Burbank, or I guess it's not in Burbank, it's in just outside of Burbank. Anyways, I got to meet. My goodness. One of my design idols there. His name is Joe Ledbetter or Joe Led. He's got a very unique style to his toys, and he was the first guy that really made me want to like make my own toys because his stuff was just awesome. I'm gonna put a link to his stuff. Joe Ledbetter. His stuff is great. Like, and so I gotta meet him, and I was like freaking out over how cool he is and how he's influenced my career and stuff. Art. Let's see. Do. I'm just Gonna link you to this guy because he's awesome. Anyways, this guy, he's just ridiculously cool and was super nice. And, you know, he's got this different style that you see. And he's just been great for years. Like when I was a graphic designer, it was his stuff that I wanted to be like. Kind of pushed my own design senses a little bit. And even still, like if I want to do a toy series, I want it to be more like his. Save it. Do I have a Discord group? I don't know what that is. Yeah, his vinyl toys are expensive. Because I think he just does limited releases, and some of them I think are even just hand painted by him. So he's expensive. Just mirroring all this stuff over now. That sounds awesome, Darkin. Just making big old giant pool toys. I don't know why, but that just sounds, I'm sure it was crazy hard, but it does sound a little awesome to just go in there. Oops, let's hide this dealy. Oh no. I don't know where the other holes of this went. Close holes. Sure, it's not even important why what we're seeing anymore. Close holes. Something's going on with this stuff. Anyways, I'm just gonna get rid of them. Let's just delete hidden. We don't even need them right now. Where the deuce did these guys come from? Okay, what the deuce? Delete hidden. Stay deleted. Okay. Gonna switch this music up. I don't know if you guys can even hear the music very well, but I'm gonna switch it. Great fun. He physically built the studio. That is hilarious. Yeah, I bet it was a bit of an eye opener. Does it look like her yet? This is the best. I just want to know what people are like. Like, oh man, this is the worst part of the stage of like building this part. Just getting through this part. You get through this part, and everything else will be okay. just trust me. Okay, I think I'm ready to start dynameshing this thing together. Actually, live boolean. I'm gonna live boolean everything together and then dynamesh it together. As I'm feeling somewhat okay with some of this stuff. Probably not. I'll fix all that after. This is the greatest. Guess I should build nostrils. step back. I'll just sculpt him in. I liked where that nose was. Anyways, you gotta turn it on. Oh, an overweight pug pulling her along. That would actually be a good idea. No, so Darken, she is actually part of a bigger picture of... This is something I drew on my Instagram. You might have seen this. I don't know if this actually posted to Facebook or not. But she's one of two characters. It'll be like a beach scene or something. Kind of fun. What brushes am I using to make her face? I mean, right now it's mainly just the move brush. Like, I'm just putting stuff in there. I had these custom insert brushes that aren't anything special. They're just standard inserts. Nothing fancy. Gotta go. Yeah, I believe that Pixelogic will post this all to their YouTube channel for later if you want to watch it later. So, if you gotta go, that's just fine. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Let's live Boolean this, though, because I think it's just time to start. Everything's there. Let's now make it somewhat presentable. Boolean takes 2 seconds, which is great. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Forgot to do a new start. Let's take these eyes. We're starting those because we want those separate and not touched at all. Yeah, Tom, you model the pug, and we'll just drop it on in. That's a deal. Oh no, I didn't turn on live Boolean or just subdiv. Okay, try it again. There we go. Okay, the live Boolean does a beautiful job, especially like I've got my perfect eyes here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to Dynamesh this. Just play around with some different sizes for Dynamesh. That may be way too high. The things I'm concerned about the most is like keeping the ridge around the eyes. So I might even pull these out just a titch more in here. No, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Dynamesh, look, there's a hole all the way through her head. This is great. She's got these huge giant eyes. Anyways. Was that a Dynamesh master tool? No, it was just regular Dynamesh, actually. I've got my Dynamesh master up here, I think. I don't know if I've actually put it on on the 4R8, but I do enjoy Joseph Druss Dynamesh master. Yeah, it's a slightly different technique than I've used in the past to make the eyelids, while still getting like the same shape, the shape out of them. Of just kind of masking out the area that you want and then extracting it. There's still like polish that needs to be done to them to make them not look like clamshells or like grossness. Just doing a quick smooth over everything. Start polishing and pulling stuff back from there. A fine English or a fine rich Italian roast. Mmm. That sounds so comforting. You know what I don't like though is that lazy snap is turned on all the brushes. There's times that I want it on, but very, very few times that I actually really want it on. So again, we're just getting her so she has all these things. We're not too concerned that she doesn't look like the concept just yet. Looks like I'm losing just a little bit of thickness on these eyelids. So I'm just going to go through and inflate them so I can get that ridge back. I really want like a hard plane, you know, around the eyes. It does a lot to sell the goodness. Would be more so if it was a good Irish whiskey. There we go. I spilled all over myself. Ugh. Excuse me. Don't worry, the beard absorbed. The beard absorbed most of the liquid, so we're gonna be okay. So just getting some of the thickness back in those eyelids. Yeah, so I don't really use a whole lot of brushes, and I switch back and forth between like the 4 brushes that I use. You'll see me using Move Brush quite a bit. I mean, Move Brush is probably my favorite brush and the brush I use the most. And then I do a lot of like the organic sculpting with the clay buildup, the line stuff, the line work with the Jack Cup brush. That or the orb crack brush I've actually been using a lot lately, just because it does good to like just cut in and define cracks, like creases, really, really well. So I'll use that sometimes, and then I'll switch back to the Jack Cup brush. And let's turn off some of this stuff. And then I can just start building out kind of the inside of this so it's not so tubular, or just so just the creases aren't so hard on the inside. Man, I'm supposed to drink it now. Not supposed to drink. Ah. That would be nice to know 3 hours ago. So I've got more tutorials planned, but I just want to know. I'm getting I'm gonna put some feelers out there of what are the things. What are the tutorials you guys are looking for that you're not seeing, or something that you want to learn that you'd want someone to make a tutorial out of? I can wait for the response. How to download all your skills. That's simple. You just jack it in. It's just like in the Matrix. You just take it. It's a USB-C, I think, to connect to the brain. You know, the new USB, of course. Okay, let's Dynamesh this again so we can fix up all this stuff. And I'm just reinforcing some of the creases. So what I'm doing, I'm not necessarily worrying about that the proportions are off from the concept, because they're way off right now. I'm mainly just wanting to get all the info there that I can. Like, I want there to be eyelids, and I want there to be ears and hair and nose. And once I ZRemesh everything, it's going to give me like a solid base mesh to work from. And again, I'm a noodler in ZBrush, so like I'm not a speed sculptor by any means. Let's see. Do mech figures. Oh, that'd be modular mech figures. That'd be cool. How to use ZBrush for Blender users. Oh, that's a good idea, actually. How to use Blender for ZBrush users. Probably the ZBrush for Blender. ZBrush for Blender. I've never used Blender, actually. A Disney Infinity tutorial would be cool. You haven't got the right cables. Ah, darn it. Dark place. If your model is for video games, how do you need to model the pose for the mouth? That really depends on the studio. What I've done for, most of the studios that I've done work for, is we try to keep the mouth as flat and neutral and maybe even slightly open, like this, without a lot of curve in there. That way, when the riggers take it, or when you rig it up, you can deform it quite a bit more and you can put bones in there. So actually, it's fairly similar to this. This has got way more curve. Like, it would be there. Ooh, what is this? There's a hole. Oh, not yet. Let's see. I'll fix this later. Anyways, so you want to try to keep the mouth like flat. Like we do something similar to this. In Disney Infinity, we kept them closed, but just straight across. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. How to take a standard picture and then produce a stylized character/creature from it. That's actually good. Like the full concept process, maybe. Darken, is that what you're talking about? That's a good idea, actually. I mean, if people are interested to see my crappy sketches, that style, like that process, I'd be more than willing to show. Look at this. Oh, that's horrible. We'll fix that. Okay. Where can you get the Jack Cup brush? The Jack Cup brush may only be available on my tutorials. It is a brush made by a coworker of mine, Ian Jacobs. So he may have that somewhere, and if he doesn't, then you could probably get it from one of my tutorials from the redbeard.com. That's probably the only place. The Redbeard, the Gumroad/Redbeard. My wife just informed me that that's not a real place, but I just said Gumroad.com/Redbeard is my tutorials. Do riggers use curves as bones? I have no idea. I guess it depends on the studio and the game. Because we are using, we are making I'm just going to fix this real quick. We're making primarily like a mobile game. So the characters that we have, they're just using standard bones. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. Fixed. So it really depends. Is rigging possible in ZBrush? No, I wish it was. That's probably one of my. If they could do some sort of, I mean, you can do a Z-sphere rig to do some transpose, posing stuff, but it's not. It's fairly primitive, and still needs a lot of love, I think, to make it a little bit more user friendly. But it would be cool to have some sort of primitive rigging and weighting system, a little bit more robust, I guess, not primitive, a little bit more robust but user friendly. Let's see, I'm missing all these questions. Tech artists love it when you keep models limp. Yeah, and fingers straight. That's true, though I have found lately that instead of keeping fingers straight for riggers, especially for is to keep them slightly bent like this, like we're doing bent hands like this. That way it just looks better when it's actually rigged, which is kind of nice. And you're kind of giving better blueprints to the riggers too. Yeah, that is my wife behind me. She's working on one of my tutorials right now, adding captions. Multiple captions for all the videos is what we're going to be doing for all the videos coming out.
You mean
Just English, but multiple words is what we're saying. You always enjoy the backstories of the characters and how you show that in the final design as long as you have that. Okay, well, that's what I like to keep in focus on everything that I do, is that there's actual, character design behind everything. So we'll keep that going. Knight of Spades. Let's see, just going through the questions. Yeah, just go to Best Buy and ask for the Thorup jack cable. So this, to get a good looking mouth with a straight mouth is the worst. And because Disney Infinity is dead, rest in peace, we had the worst mouths in that game. Like anytime the characters went into idle, their mouths instantly went back into flat mode, and it bugged me so much. So to really fix that, like, we work with, at least a chair, I work with the animators quite a bit, and talking to them about never having an idle pose go back to the flat mouths. I mean, they know that. Actually, our animators know that already. But we do work quite a bit more hands-on with the animators of like what they want, the concerns of like, okay, to make this look good, we need to do A, B, and C, and everyone's a lot more flexible. With that game, it was just so strict and such quick timelines that I think that little things like that were forgotten. Oh, let's see. Da-da-da-dum. Shoulders are the worst. I've done some shoulder riggings. Do tech artists ask you for sculpts and expression? Sometimes sometimes they want to see like how we'd push something. So yeah, that's happened before. Yeah, that's true. Some animators do like them straight. The animators that we're working with actually like them a little bit bent right now. That would be a dream to have a fully exported, rigged character from ZBrush. I mean, I am in Maya literally once every week, maybe that, because I'm fully in ZBrush or other packages to get it ready to get into Maya, and literally all I'm doing in Maya is just checking. I'm just checking textures because I hate Maya so much. Sorry, Maya. But I'm not sorry because I hate you. Just nothing seems to work, and all the stupid updates that they do are just like, well, let's just cram some other things that are useless, and then we'll just change names of things. And no, that's one thing that I'm so grateful about ZBrush or Pixelogic is that all their updates are like so good and meaningful. Okay, let's see. I'm missing stuff. Oh yeah, awesome, Dark. Yeah, it was really sad to hear that they closed the studio when Disney Infinity, like the franchise was actually doing well. It was making money. It just wasn't making like crap tons of money compared to like their movies or their merchandise and stuff. So it was just an expensive thing, I think, for them to keep going. What is my theory? These are all is my theory. So it was really sad to see that, and especially the team there was just some of the greatest artists to work with. It was really sad to have that studio close. Do I have any advice for anyone getting in the industry? Yes. Work hard. No, what the biggest advice that I have is that understand that there are, I mean, for those of you who are in school, like everyone there is applying for the same job that you are, more or less, right? And beyond that, professionals are applying for the same job that you are. So, understanding that, be willing to work just as hard, if not harder, than anyone else in the class or anyone to develop your skills to show that you can be your very best. Because really, like that's what separates someone from being great and then to being okay is if you're willing to put in that extra work, you can do it. Like anyone can do it if you're willing to put in the hours and the time and the sacrifice to put down video games or put down, to not go to social events. I mean, when I was in school, that I left. My wife was here in Utah, and I left my job and my full-time job to go to school, and she was like, "Okay, this is your time to study and make it work and put in, you're going to be by yourself up there. So get good." And so I did. I went up there, and school was 8 hours, and then I would go home and I would hop on YouTube, or I would hop on different training tutorials that were out, like the Eat 3D tutorials were awesome. And I just did tutorials when I'd go back home, and so then when I'd go back to school, it was like, okay, what's next? Let's keep going, and I would just refine and repeat everything that I learned, so that you were, pushing yourself to be the best. It's all about whatever you're willing to put in is what you'll get out of it. Would it make life so much easier to sell characters to online marketplaces? Dark, and I don't know. Yeah, yes, maybe. No, yes and no. I don't think I'm ever going to be on board with that. Maybe I will. Who knows? I think there's people that do a great job at doing that. I'm a really big believer in like having a vision for the whole scope of things. So kind of piecemealing stuff. Like I've seen people that do that. They'll buy environments or characters, and they'll put it into their game. And then what you have happen is like you have characters that don't look like they fit in the world, or vice versa. So I'm sure you could make a lot of good money doing that way, building environments and stuff. Characters, I think, is a little bit more unique because people relate to characters, and they have not like a pure vision for what your character is. It's going to be, I think that would be harder to make a very successful game that way. But not impossible, just harder. It used to be good, but now, wait. Nice, Maya certified. I hate Maya. Sorry. It used to be good. I still use the same I still use the same tools that I used when I first learned Maya, because it just doesn't seem worth it to learn the other stuff, because it doesn't really when I have all these other programs that do it better and faster than Maya does. Be comfortable with diapers and a tablet. Yes, be comfortable with diapers and a tablet. You don't have to give up your social life. What are these social events? You don't have to give up your social life, but there is like a sacrifice. You never have to give up, you don't have to give up everything, but you do have to put boundaries and limits on things so you sacrifice when it's necessary. This character is starting to look like a lot of poo. It's probably time to start dynameshing this so we can start fixing all these proportions that are driving me crazy. Or not dynameshing, but Z-remeshing it. Let's do that. Let's just Z-remesh it right now. I'll draw guides. Let's see. Yes, my wife definitely keeps me on the straight and narrow. She keeps yeah, that's my theory. She definitely corrects my mistakes. What did you just say?
I've been listening to you enough in my
Oh. Yeah, she's used to knowing when I'm talking BS, and she's like, that's not right. She corrects me all the time when it's.
I think you were really good at setting specific goals of where you wanted to work and then finding out what the specific company needed.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you hear that, guys? That was way better. So, what she said that I was really good at, and I don't think I ever realized that I was doing this, but I was. was I had really specific goals of like, okay, when I get done with school, I want to work at this company and I want to have these three. I want to have three things in my portfolio done to be able to apply for these specific companies because this is the style that I want to be to work in. So when I came back, I knew I wanted to work at Disney, but they weren't gonna hire a new kid out of the block, no matter how cool his mustache was. But I shaved it off, so that's why obviously it didn't happen. But it was all about very specific goals of where I wanted to be, and even when I wasn't at Disney, I knew that that's where I still wanted to go. So I worked hard in my free time when I wasn't at work to be on my portfolio because knowing that everything I was doing at my job was not going to help me get a job at Disney. Like, yeah, the experience was going to be great. Like, they'll see, oh yeah, so you've worked in the industry, but nothing that I could have done there would have gone in my portfolio as something that I would want. So specific goals, keep everything very specific, keep quality over quantity as far as portfolio goes. Like 3 good pieces are better than 20 mediocre pieces. Let's see. Sculptress, I think, is still free. ZBrush Core is great. Is to get you going. I do also believe that ZBrush has, or Pixelogic has, a free demo in one of the links here that you can do. It's like a 14-day demo, free ZBrush free trial if you want to get into that, which is great. Yeah, Sculptress is definitely not something you're going to use like permanently, but as Dark Place said, that it will at least give you an idea if you want to get into it. One of my brother's friends from Weta has recently left. He's making more money per house selling packs online. Yeah, I believe that actually, Darkin, that people do make really good money doing it. And I think as far as like environments and stuff go, it's a good place because there's companies I know that are still primarily using purchased like environment packages for their games. I don't know if that's something that I'd be interested in ever doing, but maybe, who knows? Let's see. Did you apply for Pixar? No, I have never applied for Pixar. I think I would love to work at Pixar. I think it would be really hard to leave Utah because I love Utah. And though, Pixar would be awesome, but it's definitely it would just be hard to leave Utah because I really like the company that I'm at. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh my goodness, I'm missing all these questions. Blender. Hello, humans. Hello, bacon bolts. Fish. Nice. It would be awesome to see some of my stuff in film. That's still something that I want to get into. which it'll happen sometime to start working in a feature animation or even just a short film. Still have plans to do that. Not sure when I want to start doing that though. Something that looks more okay. I don't think Pixar allows you to work from home. I think they like the creative environment that they build of like everyone there, everyone feeding off each other. They didn't like hearing that you were blowing up stuff, Darken. I think Ollie got it right there on the head. Like, it doesn't necessarily matter what the company is. Like, if you like the company and you like what you're doing, I think that is key for sure. I really like what I'm doing right now. I think we're doing some really great stuff, and stuff that you haven't really seen before, which is really exciting to be a part of. And to like be able to see a little bit of more of my influence in the art direction for the characters is kind of fun. I mean, we all work as a team there. Like, it's never just one guy. But it does feel like I have a little bit more of an influence here than Disney, which is great. And they're unique, we're not making a game based off something where it's our own idea. It's a lot of fun to like create a character that no one's heard of that could be super iconic and impact people's lives on its own, which would be really cool. Oh, that's cool. You teach in Japan. That's awesome. We used to work with assets from Disney Feature and Pixar uh, back at Disney Interactive. Yes. We would get stuff and see some of their animatic models and like doing Nick Wilde. I got to have his model and kind of see what they were doing and then make the ZBrush form of that, kind of trying to pick off those planes and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Let's see what we got here. You did do like actual pyrotechnic stuff? That is awesome. I love blowing stuff up. Now with the Disney stuff, like they were doing crazy stuff with the rigs. And some of the stuff we couldn't even open up on our machines because it's all proprietary that they were using on like their own machines. But their rigs were awesome. Their models were beautiful always. Okay, let's start fixing this. Now that everything's there. I'm not even going to worry about transferring. Actually, I'll worry just a little bit. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that ZBrush was okay. It was fine. I've actually done some new techniques, but like for the sake of time, I mean, I wish I could show some of the stuff that I've been doing. I've kind of learned how to master ZRemesher to get like almost animatic quality uh, like Z remeshes. I mean, this is still pretty dirty because there's no like loops around the mouth, but I mean, for the sake of this, it'll be fine. Yeah, I'll be doing. That's actually one of the tutorials. It'll be in. Probably in not the next one. Not the definitely not the one coming out, which you can't see. Don't look. Don't look. It's not going to be in that one, and it's probably not going to be in the one that comes out in October, but the one hopefully in November. My wife's just laughing. She's like, ha ha ha. You think you're going to be able to get it all done? I do. Anyway, you keep seeing her doubly overlapping. That may be because of some of the things that I said during the filming of the tutorial, because I am not really listening to what I'm saying when I'm recording, and then I just start editing stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this will be great. And I think it's really funny, and then she's laughing, but not because it's funny, but because she's making fun of me. I'll do retopo for ZBrush. Sometimes, not very often. Not like final retopo. I'll do very little in ZBrush. No, my wife is the best. She's super motivating, like, and helps me develop the Redbeard brand as it is. You know, every tutorial, like, and she's the person whose critiques I trust the most, actually. Because she's mean. Yes, like I trust her critiques because she's mean. She's not mean, she's honest. So like if something looks bad or like something she's like she's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, that looks okay." She's like, "No, it actually looks great and I don't think you should do that because it's dumb." And it's not like she's giving me she actually gives like meaningful feedback of like the reasons why she thinks it looks dumb. Like if she doesn't think that's selling the idea that I want, or the character isn't projecting the message that I want. But she's great. She's got a great eye for that. And you need someone just to be honest with you. Okay, let's start fixing this character. What are you doing? You're laughing back there. Conspiracy time. Yes, conspiracy time. It's nice to see you doing. Well, we're not doing the same craft. Actually, she's a videographer, and she's just taking care of the subtitles, the captions, subcaptions, subtitle captions, subtitles. Uh, she's taking care of all that for this,
Spelling and business.
and she is the business quality assurance manager for Redbeard. She's basically she corrects everything for me. Conspiracy time. Watching an interesting theory that American government is responsible for the recent state of hurricanes that are currently tearing up the planet by seeding the water. Huh. That's a cool one. I haven't heard that. I mean, I've heard all the conspiracies about like Katrina back in the day, that the dam, that they didn't cause the hurricane, but they did break the dam, which caused way more flooding than needed, and caused a lot more. But that would be cool. Well, it wouldn't be cool, but it'd be interesting to learn about, I think. Did Joe Rogan say it? If Joe Rogan says it, it's probably true. The Redbeard mouth checker, yes. Yes. Carla, I wouldn't know. I don't know if I would say that Carla is the grown up that allows me to play as a child, because she's very much a child herself. I mean, look at her playlist. It's like Justin Bieber. Okay, time to start fixing these things that are just horrible. You know, I haven't done a lot of conspiracy theories lately. I've been doing more paranormal videos. It's unfortunate that my house isn't haunted, like you don't see doors closing and things behind. I mean, it's unfortunate, but really I'm grateful because I'm not going home or not running to my bed crying so I can hide under the sheets, which I do sometimes, let's be honest. But I haven't had any good conspiracies lately. Watched some weird documentaries about the mom having her daughter pretend that she was sick so she would get all these free things like trips to Disneyland and stuff, and then the girl had enough and had her boyfriend kill her mom, which was crazy. Is there any special craft to making infinity smoother characters? Like due to the stylization. So yeah, that was always like a key focus, is to keep them very smooth and planar. Honestly, the best thing to do that was, at least for me, I mean, I'm sure Shane has got a different approach, but I tried to keep the retopology, even like the Z-remesh stuff that we were doing, very, very clean. Like sometimes building base meshes outside of ZBrush, or you know, we all, I think, learned how to become masters at cleanliness because we needed everything to be clean, and so it's all about topology, of getting, like, if you have clean topology, you can smooth out and working from low to building it up to a high poly mesh. Like this is, I think right now at 170,000, which is higher than I normally go, but it's working out okay. But you'll see me switch down to make these moves. Actually, because her eyes are slightly weirdo, I wonder if I can get away with something. Vertices! We all gotta love our vertices, right? Gotta get the eye shape on these just a little bit better. She's almost got these like alien type eyes because they're so big. Yeah, that really sells the alien type eyes. Just want to get that subtle angle there, the top lid over the bottom lid. Let's see. Yeah, the key dark places to get bumps is just try to keep low topology and slow build up, and you can get clean shapes. It's always really, I think, the hardest thing to get really good at just making clean shapes in ZBrush. But it's gotten a lot simpler with, you know, the retop the Z remesher and, you know, some of the things like the Z modeler brush is great for that. Let's see. Do I ever model with curves? Like a curve brush? Like, whoop. Sometimes. That's how I did the mouth, the lips normally. Is I'll use the curve brush for that. Let's see. First, these are losers and only get 1 point. I get it. It's a joke. You're a bunch of nerves. Bezier. Am I going to the ZBrush Summit this year? No, I'm not. I was debating on going just as like a spectator because it's the ZBrush Summit's awesome. You gotta love the ZBrush Summit. They every year it seems to just get better and better, and they put on like such a great show. And it's just fun, like interacting with a bunch of ZBrush users and having a blast, hearing Paul be crazy because he's just crazy. It's like my favorite thing in the world. But it was a choice between that and going to CTN this year, which is the Creative Talent Network Expo that's in Burbank. And they had just some people coming to that I hadn't met before, so was decided to go to that this year. Probably do Summit next year. But I will be watching it like I did. I'm just not sold on this. But yeah, I'll be watching it and commenting. So look for me in the stream because I'll be heckling Kyle. I like to heckle Kyle. Oh boy, that turned out really bad. Who are you texting back there? Huh? Yeah, if you guys can get to the ZBrush Summit, like it is very cool. You get to meet some of the best artists in the world are there. You know, the best ZBrush artists in the world are all there. And it's a very cool experience to be able to meet them, to kind of feed off the energy that's there, which is always great. Yeah, they just do an amazing job of putting on a great expo. Ooh. What is EBK? Yes, and the ZBrush, meeting them in person is pretty awesome. They do have the best streamers here. They've done such a good job of like picking out some great artists that have done a really good job streaming. I mean, they're great. Gotta go to Weta. And we'll always blame Kyle. Yeah, it sounded cool that they're doing like some portfolio reviews. And like imagine getting your portfolio reviewed by some of those guys. Like that's intimidating. And they've got some great workshops as well. Like if I went down, I'd make sure I would be in one of the workshops for sure. Some advice to sculpt man lips? Man lips. So my advice to sculpting man lips, we're going to jump over to another package right now so I can better explain this. Okay. Okay. So, and this is, you can always break the rules. Traditionally, female lips are, and this is like overall for like characters. This is a huge mouth. Why am I drawing it so big? So if this was the mouth, this was her mouth. Female characters are a lot more rounded. You know, they've got these high points here. You know, if this was the top lip, this is more or less the female mouth. Very curvy, very, you know, it's just more curvy, long shapes, long curves. The male mouth you're going to find is a lot more square. So maybe, and you know, sometimes thinner, sometimes not, but it's, let's see if we can get this right. Just, and you probably won't have an emphasis on the lips actually. Like if I'm doing a male character in 3D, I mean, it's hard to not, try that again. It's just a lot more square, not a lot of emphasis on it. Kind of make it better if you make them look mad to make male lips. But they're normally not as big. You know, not nearly as defined. So if I was going to do that in 3D, I would not make them nearly as voluptuous as these, not nearly as curvy. Whoa. and really just try to not make them pop out as much. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Dark Place. Glad you guys are here. Red Monica lips, yes. This is the first 12-step meeting. Okay, I'm gonna block out a hat. Let's block out a hat.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not listening.
Oh no. We're gonna block out a hat and block out maybe her hair, just so we can start understanding some of these proportions that we're building. Oh no, weird bug. Okay, we're gonna save and just relaunch ZBrush because some weird thing happens sometimes and I can't get it to fix. That's okay. Saved. We'll just relaunch it. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Dark Place, in this ridiculous world. Yeah, so Squid Tank, the way that I resize my brush is if you tap. Let's open up this file back. So the way that I do it is if you just tap S, it just pulls up the draw size right underneath your cursor wherever it is. So if I hover over here, hit S, it brings it up, and as soon as I make an adjustment and let go, it disappears. So I'm very, very quick. I change my brush size all the time. It's like become habitual to like just constantly be changing my brush. Oh yeah, Tons of time. What's being sculpted today? I'm starting on this girl. It's the first stages on blocking her out. So we're gonna give her a hat right now. A hot. We're gonna give her a hot. Do I not like tablet sensitivity? Oh, I love tablet, or I can only use tablet sensitivity. This is just changing my size. And I'm using mainly the move brush. I'm not really sculpting. So it's not really affecting anything other than that. Ooh, that's cool. Z adjuster, and you just hold S without having to tap. I'll have to look into that. That sounds cool. Can I enlarge this for you? Let's see here. Yeah. You could also just pull this from my Instagram page. There you go. Is that? I'm not even gonna ask questions anymore. Just gonna. There is a great reference application called PureRef that I've been using quite a bit lately. That is just been really nice. What resolution is my display? I think it is a 2K display. Is that what the 27-inch Wacom is? I have no idea. Might need to split these points. My goodness. That's right. Squid Tank's got it. Instagram's awesome. When I'm making my model with the hats, do I do a non-hat and a hat model? Yeah, normally. Just to like, if I don't like what those points did, I'm taking them off. I'll just worry about that later. Anyways, yeah, I do. I normally do like a one with the hats and then one without the hats. Trying to give her like a trucker hat. Slash. Trucker hat. Just no slash. There's no slash. That's just what it is. Actually, that's what it needs to change. Is it needs to come back further so it can be wider. Anyways, I keep my block ends, like, as you guys have seen, fairly small. And then I can just go in with the blob and mush a blob for the hair. And again, the hair, this is going to be as like temporary as anything you could possibly make. Oh, you know what, guys? I am down to my last few minutes here. My goodness. She's going to have these really big irises. Probably too big. So if you got any questions, do I use layers much? I do when I start adding in like final detail. Like I use it for painting quite a bit when I start adding in makeup, or when I start adding in pores or skin details or things of that nature. But other than that, I try not to. Oh gosh. I try not to use layers too much because they can mess with some of the other things like freaking out. The keyshot doesn't do well with some of the layers if, you know, the layers are on or not, you know, you're not on the right order. Yeah, I'm going to figure out those irises later. Jeez. But she's got these really big ones. Anyway, I don't have any plans to get into blend shapes right now, but that could be a really cool tutorial process of showing how to do, you know, a full set of blend shapes. Would actually kind of be fun. Finding the irises for this character is going to be sucky. Crazy big eyes. Well, let's call it okay for that. I'll be back next week. I'll be back this whole month for sure. We'll have to see what the future holds apart from that. Just with the tutorials that I'm trying to get out, which are going to come out. They're going to be great. But I'll be back next week, same time, same place. And let me see if they've... I think I missed the question. Maybe not. Anyways, I think that's going to be it for tonight to stay on time with ZBrush. I'll be back next week and we'll continue on this girl. I'll try to get in like a block in for body so we can just start getting into the fun stuff. And thanks for stopping by, everyone that stopped by. Please have a good night or a good morning to some of you. And have a good one. Watch out for Monday. Monday is this tutorial back here is going to be on sale, for sale. So you guys are the best. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks ZBrush and Pixelogic for having me. Kyle especially for putting up with me, and for everyone that came by and said hi. Thanks. Oh, I don't even know how to stop this thing. We're just going to be going all night because I can't stop it. I can't stop it. Okay. Have a good one, guys.